Good, you?
Good. So, a couple things we can talk about. Yellow light means if you have time to stop, you need to stop.
Okay.
Okay, so you clearly accelerated and got through that light, and right when you went through it, it turned red.
Okay.
So that's basically illegal. Okay. The
Gotcha.
other thing is, just because you're on a motorcycle doesn't mean you can make a lane that doesn't exist. Okay. People that turn right there, maybe at best, but that was a turning. Those parking spaces that you went to, and basically went straight through. Okay. So
Okay.
you're basically a car for all intents and purposes in Iowa.
Right.
So you gotta, if there's not a lane, you can't just make one. Okay.
I understand. I always thought there was because it's 2 lanes after the intersection.
Correct. And it turns to 2 lanes after, but that's a parking lane all the way up until. So
Okay.
There's only maybe 5 feet between the parking space and the white line. Not enough that it
Gotcha.
fit, you know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
Basically, just in the future, just make sure to get behind the cars. Okay.
Okay.
All right, you
I
got
understand.
license on you?
Yes, sir. In the back pocket.
Okay. Go ahead.
Registrations or insurance is on the phone.
Okay.
Registration's in the seat.
Thank you.
You want me to get those both going?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Henry, where you come from tonight?
Just got off work.
Okay. Where do you work at?
There's that.
Thank you. Tell you what, while you're looking that up on your phone, let me go back to run your information. If you find
All right.
just hold on to it, okay?
All right. Sounds good. I'll have to look back at the footage, but I did accelerate to get through that, but I don't know how close I was. He is right about that lane though. Seems cool enough. Hopefully it doesn't give me a ticket or anything.
How did you manage to get out at 1 o'clock Saturday night if you're a door guy?
We close at midnight.
Fair enough. I didn't think you guys were open too late there. Right. Okay, sounds good. There's that back for you, man. Like I said, we'll just give you a warning for that. Just like I said, if you have time to stop, especially in the downtown, because unfortunately, like you probably see, pedestrians don't always follow the crosswalks and everything else. So if you're trying to make a light and people are crossing when they're not supposed to, that's a lot of issues. You know what I mean? And then the other thing, just make sure we're not creating lanes. So,
okay,
right? Sounds good.
Alrighty.
So,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, that went well. If I were to imagine getting pulled over and, by a cop, then while I'm on the motorcycle, that's what I would imagine and hope for it to go like. A good guy. I think his name was something Grimm was his last name. Interesting last name. But, no, nice guy. I honestly had a feeling that he wasn't going to give me a citation because those 2 things that he mentioned, the yellow light, I gotta look back on it, but I don't even think I would have been going over 30 to hit that yellow light. He is right though, with it being, late downtown, pedestrians not following stuff and everything. He's got a valid point there. I probably shouldn't be speeding up to go through yellow lights like that. But he did mention, he was like, if you have time to, yellow light means if you have time to stop, you stop. I don't know. I've always thought yellow lights are kind of ambiguous, but it's always subjective, right? It's never objective what time to stop is in a car or even on a motorcycle, Like, did I probably have time to stop? Yeah, but, it's like, it just depends so much on the situation, because you have reaction time, obviously braking distance and everything like that. If I have time to stop but I end up in the middle of the intersection, I'm probably not going to stop. You know what I mean? And you have to consider, like, safely being able to stop as well, and not just like slamming on the brakes. That's kind of the way I think of it. In cars and motorcycles, they all vary. Some older cars people drive, they can't stop as quick. It's usually just better for them to accelerate through the intersection as long as they, that's why, like, red lights. After a red light, you have, you have, like a delay, like a 1 or 2 second delay before the next light turns green. But I don't know. He's the officer. I understand his points were valid. And also that lane thing, he again kind of just ambiguous. The reason, a reason why I don't think he was going to give me a ticket, because like I've seen people do that before, and like he said maybe at most if you're turning right. Well, it's like, well, if I am turning right, does it matter? Blah, like what am I? He probably has pulled people over for something like that before. It's not like a serious thing, but it is kind of stupid. Like the way the street is designed is very poor, I think, because it's just parking all the way up until there, but like it turns into 2 lanes. It kind of looks like there's supposed to be 2 lanes there, And I definitely do that often. Like I've gone into that lane before, and I don't know if I've done it in front of a cop before or not, but it is what it is. He's a nice guy, explained everything well. I don't know I don't know how he saw me through that yellow light. Which officer? He might have been that guy that was sitting facing the other direction when I was passing on that street before the intersection, or when I was going down that street right before the light. But it is what it is. Luckily, I always had all my information on me, so it made it pretty easy, pretty smooth process and everything. But I'm curious to see on the footage how close it really was. I mean, even if I did accelerate, like, is that like I mentioned when I was talking about, braking distance and blah, 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 how he said, if you have time to stop, you can. Again, that's very subjective and, very different depending on each situation. But usually if it's a yellow light, there's occasion, even if you accelerate to get through it, that doesn't mean that you had time to brake. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you had to kind of accelerate to make it through, to get that, to get through before it's a red light, just because you had to accelerate to get through before it turns red, doesn't necessarily mean that you had enough time to stop. Because you can accelerate a little bit, usually a little bit quicker than you can brake, at least on my bike. I don't know, maybe that's wrong, but that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. Let me know what you guys think down below, like what do you think about that, because whether or not I was in the wrong, there's, like I said, he made very good points. I ride like a car for all intents and purposes, I believe he said, on a motorcycle in Iowa. He knew what he was talking about. But like I said, I think the reason he didn't really give me a ticket, mainly just because he's, he could have cited me for that red light, but like, if he would have done that, like, you got to be, like, I probably would have just, like, I don't know, I have the recording, I could have just taken it to court or something. I would have been pissed if he did that, because, like, that's so dumb. I think I actually turned away to look at something before I caught on that yellow light. So that might have been, again, another thing, with reaction time. And this light's not going to change. Oh, it did. Let's go. And something else, actually, obviously I knew already that the parking lane, it's parking all the way up, so it's technically just one lane at that light where I did go to the right side of that car. I know that it's parking, but I go to that side because I personally think when there's no cars there, like, why you should not be able to. And I think, and you know, that's not my place to, you know, I'm not the one making the laws, so I can't make that judgment. So I am in the wrong. I'm saying I'm in the wrong in that sense. But personally, I think it should be okay to do so if there's no vehicles there. And what I would like to point out is that the city, like I said, it's weirdly designed because it kind of looks like it, because it's 2 lanes wide. Even though there are parking, there's parking paint down on the ground, it's 2 lanes wide, and then it's 2 lanes wide in front. So it's like, why would anyone presume to believe that this is not 2 lanes? I mean, especially if you can't see the lines very well, with it being dark out or something, you know. But that's just kind of what, you know, that's kind of what I think on it. There needs to be some sort of sign that says, you know, no right lane. You know, no right lane usage before light or something like that. It's just, it's kind of a jank intersection in my opinion, but I'm not trying to defend myself. Obviously I know I was in the wrong in that sense, but